Hi, my name is Sadra Tibbetts, and I read The Bell Jar by Sylvia Plath. This book is about the average struggles of a woman in the 1950s and mental health struggles based on the author's own personal experience. I liked how the author portrayed mental health struggles in a non-romanticized way, because obviously that should not be romanticized. It's painful and hard, and it just causes a lot of issues. One of my favorite passages from this book was, the one thing I was good at was winning scholarships and prizes, and that era was coming to an end, which to me shows the shock that Plath had, or I guess Esther in this, because that's the character's name, felt due to the fact that she would no longer be in college or in this course. Another quote that I like from this book is, "It didn't seem to be summer anymore. I could feel the winter shaking my bones and banging my teeth together," which is on page 45. This is after she gets food poisoning, and it shows how that food poisoning impacted her, how it affected her, how sick it made her feel. And it was just very, very explicit with how it described that. The first quote that I had was on page 77, by the way. One example that I have of a particularly strong move made by the writer was when she describes the feeling of never wanting to get out of bed, even ignoring basic things because you'll just have to do them again the next day. It really hit when I read this passage. It was just like, wow, this person is struggling and in pain and they need help. But since it is the 1950s and since she is a woman, she doesn't get the help that she needs. She's just expected to be all right. And obviously later on, her mother gets concerned over this and takes her to a mental health specialist. But the specialist only makes things worse. It's just, this book overall was sad. It was heavy. I didn't feel much hope when I was reading this. It's just painful. Another example of a really strong move made from the writer is when she describes the fact that Esther had been wearing the same clothes for, I think, 4 days. And she just didn't see the need in doing laundry. Not because she would just have to do it again the next day. This book teaches me that in the 1950s, mental health wasn't really considered very heavily, especially not with women. They were just not seen as people that could be impacted like this. But that is very not true in the case of the actual author, Sylvia Plath. She too struggled with the same mental health issues that Esther did, though obviously in a slightly different way, more personal to hers that we will never know. And even though she describes what it felt like, she doesn't ever fully, in detail, say exactly what it was like for her. This book really plays on the pain and discomfort and just loss Esther Greenwood, the character in this book, was fighting a battle for a very long time, and she didn't end up winning, which is the unfortunate case for many individuals, including the author herself. This it really just teaches me that people experience these things and they aren't listened to, even though they have every right in the world to be. And it's definitely something that needs to be worked on back then, and even including now in some cases where mental health is ignored simply because the person with it is person struggling with it is female or queer or trans. It just, the people do not get the help that they need. And this book is a clear statement as to why it should be a more focused on topic. It should be studied, new ways to help should be found that are actually effective. Overall, I really liked this book, but it was a difficult read for me.